All right, let's get down to business. So I was on Twitter until 3 o'clock this morning because of something that happened on FloriBama shore that I'm just sitting here like, are you serious? Are you serious? What is the deal? Before I get into what happened, I'm going to explain what the show is, and then I'm going to explain the cast and from best to worst. And I promise you, it is the best to the worst. So FloriBama shore, I've been saying Florida. So I'm going to keep saying that because FloriBama sounds dumb. FloriBama shore is basically about a bunch of young adults in their 20s, having fun, drinking, going to bars, doing summer jobs. It's basically like Jersey Shore, except it's not Jersey Shore. It's FloriBama shore. It's the people from Florida and Alabama and Georgia and basically the South, basically. So let's start with my favorite all-time girl, Candace Pimp Fried Rice. I follow her on Twitter. She's cool. She's got her own store, so go and navigate Instagram, Pimp Fried Rice. Literally, she's really awesome. She's the only black girl on FloriBama shore, and I see why. Let's get to Jeremiah. They call him strange because he was homeschooled. He looks like what Superman really looks like. I would consider what Superman would look like if he were real. Really tall. He used to be more of a womanizer than he is now. He used to bring home girls and just bed them and throw them out on the street. But he was people would consider him nice nasty, in which he does something nasty, but in a nice way. He is literally second best in the show. Third is Amy. I used to like Amy because she would throw hands and whatever, but she got help, so quote unquote, she needed help, quote unquote, even though the guys do crazy stuff and they don't need help, but the girls need help because, women don't do that, blah, blah, blah. She got some, whatever, they make a joke about it, like they used to say, she's a roughhouser, da, 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 because she pushed Kirk and punched Gus. I'll talk about those idiots later. Nilsa, she and Gus had an on and off, which I hated because Gus is not worth gum on your shoe. He's not worth gum on your shoe. And he would always put girls into her face. She said, I like you. And because they got drunk, he would always be like, da, 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 da. He's a womanizer. He's a big womanizer, big old fat womanizer. Kirk, he is white, adjacent, male identified. He's the only black man on the show, but he doesn't act like it. No one said, bring race into everything. He's one of those guys that'd be like, you know what? Let's just all be servants. Let's just serve white people. Like that's something he would probably say. He literally doesn't care about black people. He makes it seem like Candace is got a problem when she has an issue and makes it seem like it's her problem, not a white person problem. Literally. He's just an all-time horrible guy, from what I can see on the show. I have him blocked on Twitter because I really don't have time for that nonsense. And Candace, she has to be nice to him or else people are going to say, you the mad black woman. You just the mad, because he never has her back. Never, ever, ever laughed at her. I will get to what happened. And Kirk better not bring that crap. What's being black? I don't know what are black? Black, black, black. Like, shut up. You know exactly what everyone's talking about. The moment a black person plays dumb like that is because they're not trying to fumble the white bag. Why is everything always about race? Hate to break it to you, but you weren't hired because you were cool. You weren't hired because you were cool. You were hired because you were a number. You were hired because you were a black man. If it weren't you, it would have been some other ethnic person. Your existence is political to some people. Without you even speaking, your hair is political. Shut up. Shut up, Kirk. Kodai, there's something. Okay, so there's been issues with calling people out when they're not ready to come out as gay. On this show, there are specific people who could be gay, but they have yet to say that that's what they have aligned with. They could be bisexual. Bisexual people exist. They exist and they are valid. I believe the reason why things happen, there are problems, is because there are two people in particular, maybe two people in particular on this show that are gay or bisexual, and they can't live in their reality. They can't live in their being because either their family doesn't agree or someone they know doesn't agree. But if they were gay or bisexual and just lived that life, I think they would be a lot happier and stop spreading misery to people. And I think Kodai's one of them. Kodai always coddles Gus, always says, oh, it's okay. And like everything, literally, when he's the worst person on the show and he needs to be taken off immediately. He needs to be taken off. Not Kodai, Gus. Okay. So let's get to the loser himself, Gus. He is racist. He comes from a police home, and you can play the game like, oh, he's not racist. He's proven time and time again he's racist. And I will explain to you just a few times that you can go look it up yourself. FloriBama Shore is for sale on cable, and I refuse to buy them to show you on the clips. But go out there and I find it. Like, everything I'm saying has a backbone to it. Everything I'm saying, fact. Everything I'm saying, you can go look it up and you can find it. I promise you. And let's talk about some dishonorable mentions. Courtney, she's the dishonorable mention. So she was racist on the show. Candace herself called her prejudiced, but I'm not going to candy code racism. I'm not going to candy code it. People would love to be prejudiced, proud and prejudiced. They would love to be proud and prejudiced. They don't want to be racist. And Candace butt heads with her. She was like, you're looking at me like you think I'm less than you and all that. And she was projecting what she thought about Candace onto her. And there's a lot of projection that goes on in that house, in that beach house. And it always seems to be a problem with Candace when she's literally happy-go-lucky, literally has to smile. She must smile, or else she's the mad black woman. She is the person that's causing the trouble when literally every common denominator is Gus in the house. And Courtney, when she was there. Now, she has had issues. She had excess substance issues. She's had abuse issues. And I really, really, really don't want to discuss Courtney because I feel for her as a woman, as a feminist, as a woman. I will always side with women. She was against Candace. She urinated in her bed and called it, oh, it was an accident. And then there was this joke where she was just urinating everywhere in trash cans and whatnot. So it was like, oh, let me add on to this so that you can't say that I did it on purpose. And there was a lot of things that happened between Candace and Courtney, and she's off the show. And someone said, word on the street, I don't know if this is true, she left just because she had issues and she wanted to deal with them. And I hope that she has found help, and I hope that she has a better mindset, because no amount of abuse, no amount of turmoil will equal racism. You can't go through something and say, well, I'm racist now. I have a quote. After I'm done talking about these people, I'm going to put a bunch of Twitter comments that I put and some things that I just saw that I think is very relevant to this, in no particular order when I'm talking about it. But one of my quotes from Twitter says, if you are one hurt feeling away from a racial slur, you're racist. I don't care. Like, I'm not here to debate, oh, well, I'm racist because XYZ. There's no excuse for racism. There's no excuse for homophobia. There's no excuse being anti-trans. There's no excuse for any of those things. Sorry, not sorry. I literally, I am not sorry for that. Now let's get into what happened in FloriBama Shore. So FloriBama Shore has had like 4 seasons. I stopped watching FloriBama Shore because Candace was being bullied constantly. Okay, just to name a few things, she fell down the stairs and Kirk himself, the black man on the show who does not ever align with her, ever. Show me one time, maybe when she said the pizza cold, he's like, yeah, that pizza cold. Like, that's something that he would agree with her. But when she said she didn't want the N-word spoken in the house, she's like, I'm not going to say the N-word. I don't want you guys to say the N-word. He made it seem like she was causing trouble. Black people do not cause trouble for merely existing. I hate to break it to you racists and incels. And I think Kirk is an incel. I think oh my goodness, there's so many things with Kirk. Blocked him. I blocked Gus. Jeremiah, I don't follow him. I really wanted to, but I can't bring myself to. There's something that's stopping me. And I agree that he was iced out. And I think it's interesting. This is what stops me from following Jeremiah. Jeremiah was iced out from the group because Gus, the queen bee himself, and no, dude from the freaking challenge, I had to unfollow him. Every time I follow a black man, something happens. Every time I follow a black man, something happens to where I have to unfollow him. It's mostly because they're heterosexual. I usually don't have to unfollow gay men, but I had to unfollow Corey because he was like, oh, because when Candace said, Gus is a queen, he was like, oh, that's anti-gay. That's bringing anti-gay for me. Okay, Corey, you were black and you were in a house where they were taking nothing but black people out of the house, Corey. Corey, I think you need to get your priorities straight because first of all, Candace did not say he was a queen as in gay. This queen thing gave Gus a little hair on his chest, a little ammunition for him to get out from behind somebody else's back and speak up and say, oh yeah, Candace is throwing out the gay slurs and calling Kodai out. And she was like, when did I call you a gay slur? When? I watched that thread and nothing was put down there. Nothing was put down there. I haven't blocked, yes, but it says this person is blocked. Do you want to view what they said? And I didn't see nothing he put down there. And no, stupid, dumb idiot, stupid head. You don't have to put the word. You can say the first letter and we will know exactly what you're talking about. She said he was a queen, as in drama queen, because guess what? He called her dramatic. So that's what that is on that. It's interesting that he calls her dramatic. He is nothing but projection in human form. He is a literal projection in human form. He looks so unreal. He looks like a freaking hologram. He is projecting so much on every single person, calling Candace racist because she said, oh, I don't feel comfortable coming around your family because you're freaking over there. 2021, yes, it happened. Black people were hanging from trees and they were saying it was a suicide. She said she did not want to go to his house around his cousins because she felt unsafe. And then he's going to turn around and say that that's racist to assume? That's racist. Like, funny. That's hilarious. One of my quotes, I do believe I'm paraphrasing, but I said, like, when a white person says that an ethnic person is racist, especially Black American, they are literally saying that so that when they're racist, they can, like, people go through stages when they're called out for racism. First, it's not racism because XYZ. Then, oh, maybe you're racist. And maybe if I am racist, then you're more racist than I am. It goes through phases and he did it all. Like, he's like, I will not stand down on this. Gus is racist. He is racist. And I will say that. I blocked him because he's one of those losers who will pop off at anyone, one follower, and he'll pop off on them for no reason. And fine, pop off because it's just more evidence against you. I have a few of his tweets talking about this situation and playing games and then saying he's going to get someone to beat up Kansas. Let me tell you something that he did. He said that Candace was not a woman. And this was around the first or second season. He said, I don't even think you're a woman. It wasn't anti-trans, which I am sure he is also probably. But it was because women, Black women, are usually masculinized and made to be not a woman. Therefore, we do not deserve protection. Therefore, we're too strong for protection. Like, that's something, an insult. That's something that a racist has in their vocabulary to say. And that's something that he said a long time ago before any of this happened, before anything about the sister. Okay, let me explain to you where all this crap came from with Candace and Gus. Aside from the crap that's happened early on in the seasons, last season, I do believe, or this first, or the beginning of the third season or whatever, fourth, I can't remember what it is. I don't care. Freaking Gus was pouting and boohooing and everyone was literally having a good time. Nilsa is pregnant. He brings up old stuff to agitate her. How are you going to agitate her? And oh my goodness, I am not here for anyone who's saying Candace is agitating someone, because she literally sits there and smiles and takes more than what I would take, more than what people would take. But guess what? We have to be calm and cool and collected, or else we're the mad Black woman, or we're the person that's getting agitated when we have every right to be agitated. A third of that house has been sitting in the back of a freaking cop car because they got agitated at somebody outside the house. But Even inside the house, there were hands thrown 3 times. And most of those times that happened involved Gus. That's the common denominator. But let's get back to what happened. So freaking Gus, the idiot, scrub, loser, scumbag, douchebag, was playing sob story and making everyone feel terrible about their life. Woe was me, woe was me. Freaking Mr. Cop Man, freaking with your family cop man money, freaking go get yourself some freaking psychologist help. Get yourself a freaking therapist, because no one wants to hear that crap for the millionth time. I am here for anyone who has any depression or issues. I have tons of friends who come to me and we talk about it. Gus is not here to talk about it. He's here to throw it on everybody else and make it everybody else's problem so everyone's as miserable as he is, when he needs to live in his truth. The problem occurred when Gus took Candace's blow dryer and she was like, I wouldn't mind you using it. Just ask. He's like, I don't need to ask. And then he calls other people entitled, but this was literally, I told you, projection. He says the freaking sky is blue. It's because he's blue. It's because he's blue, not because the sky is blue. It's because he's blue. Everything he says to somebody is exactly what he thinks of himself and he knows of himself. He called, I don't know who it was, Candace, entitled. And what? Entitled to her own stuff? Absolutely. Freaking entitled to her own stuff? Absolutely. Entitled to my own stuff? Absolutely. Entitled to my own stuff? Absolutely. I gotta calm down. I really gotta calm down, because I'm ready. If I were a man, I would be ready to fight Gus. I would be ready. I'd be like, square up anytime, in any place, cameras rolling, because I'm getting on that show and I'm getting you. Because he loves to talk about he's about to throw hands with a woman. Like, oh my goodness. So, okay. Candace. Her items were removed from, and then people around her. This is why I can't follow anybody else in this cast, because they be like, yeah, I guess that's kind of bad, sort of, kind of. And then the guys, other than Jeremiah, because Jeremiah and Gus are on no speaking terms because he had a problem, which I'll talk about later because it's not about this. They are like coddling Gus and making it seem like he's the victim. And, oh, Candace, you need to calm down. It's just the Kodai coming in here talking about calm down. It's just some this and that. Like, if it was your this and that, you would be upset. And it's ridiculous that she can't be upset because you guys spit in her face freaking every day. And then the one time she mouse whispers a problem, y'all are telling her to calm down. No. So she didn't calm down. And because Gus is a weenie hut junior, he's a freaking weenie hut junior. He ran outside and everybody had to go chase him because it was cold and he had a wife beater on because, you are what you are. Freaking went out. Only douchebags wear wife beaters. Freaking loser. He ran outside, running away from them, running away from the camera crew, throwing his mic on the ground, unprofessional as all get out. As I said on Twitter, if you need someone to replace Gus, I am more than happy to do it. I'm a 23-year-old black woman, and I take care of my own business, and I clean up after myself, and I'm not going to urinate in no one's bed. How about that? He ran out. They went to go chase him, and now Candace can't live in her own life. She has to cater her life to everyone else around her, especially Gus, the racist. Every person who is racist tries to make every black person feel as uncomfortable as possible so that they'll leave. And if Candace left, no other black girl would replace her. They might get some person who's going to be like, well, just like they got so lucky with Kirk. They got so lucky with Kirk because Kirk could tell them a thing or two, but he refuses to. And if you go to his Instagram, you'll understand why. I'm not going to talk about it here, but you will understand 100% why. He is a turncoat constantly. He is a turncoat on Candace, and he's a turncoat on any black person. He will white identify all day and night. But freaking Gus is out there in the cold. They're worried about him. Gus's sister gets on the phone with her tooth in the mouth self. Calls on the phone and tells Candace, oh, I'm going to beat you up because this is your fault. I blame you. I don't blame an adult who just left like a child, wham, baby. I don't blame him. Why would I blame him? That's nonsense. It's the black person's fault. Yes, it's you. Bye. And then she hangs up and she's like, wow, what on earth? Why was I just like assaulted over the phone verbally? Like, She's going to curse at her and then say she's going to beat her up over this when your own brother, who is stuck in adolescence, left like a baby weenie ha junior. So freaking let's go to last night's episode, okay? Last night's episode rehashed this whole situation because freaking Gus invites after 4 seasons of this freaking show, Gus invites his sister to come over. All of a sudden, now that Candace is nice and isolated, so when she gets over there, no one else is going to have her back on anything because everyone's so identified with Gus. It's crazy. Nilsa has this thing for Gus still. I can't. It's horrible. It's horrible. She woman simped for Gus the whole time. She woman simped for Gus the whole time. And it was so horrible because I would always root for her. I would always root for her to get out of that. No penis is worth it. No penis is worth it. I'd rather have 0 penis than deal with Gus. The only reason Gus has a vendetta against Nilsa is because she treated him like crap their first date. And yeah, you can either internalize someone treating you like crap and treat them like crap for the rest of their life, for the rest of their freaking life, as long as you know them. Or you can be like, all right, you know what? Okay, I'm going to not talk to you. We're not going to be friends. Not that I'm going to sleep with you and then say you're ugly and then sleep with you again and then say I don't like you and then say this is casual, but then say I need you and then like go back and forth like he freaking did. So like I said, get to now. She's on her way and Candace is like, I don't feel comfortable because your sister straight up threatened me and I don't feel comfortable with her being in my airspace. Like, did that and you're going to come pull up and everything's supposed to be normal and I'm supposed to be happy and fine, go lucky? No. So she stood her ground, and just like every time a black woman stands her ground, here comes the naysayer. Oh, why are you mad? Why are you upset? On Twitter, Nilsa was like, oh, I should have been a better friend to Candace. That doesn't matter now. That doesn't matter now because when you were there, you didn't help her. I didn't watch the show and I'm not going to because I saw what I needed to see and I see what I need to see. Like, honestly, I really don't need to see the show to know how it went. Kirk probably sat there and giggled and laughed. And Jeremiah probably was silent because he knows what's wrong. He knows from right to wrong. He is Superman. He knows from right to wrong. Sometimes he just stands by and does nothing like Superman. And that is so interesting. It's super duper interesting. Because when he was isolated, Candace, she may have been doing stuff with the group because guess what? Another thing is, how are you going to expect someone who's been isolated to, now that someone else is isolated, like, okay, now I feel like maybe I can finally get some agency. Of course, someone's going to think that. And if you guys can rationalize Gus doing that, you can rationalize Candace doing that. But the difference between Gus and Candace is because Candace is black and Gus is white. And Gus gets to be a freaking victim every 2 seconds, even though his family's a cop family and all that. And he can afford therapy. He's got to tell y'all every day that he's like, I don't like myself, all this, that, and the other. So he can stand up and say and spit acid in Candace's face. And y'all say, well, he's going through stuff, Candace. He's going through stuff, Candace. Candace is going through stuff. How about that? Candace never got a real love interest. She had someone over the phone. Every time there's a love interest thing, it's a joke. And this is what I say about Kodai. They know something about Kodai that we from the public do not know. And the reason why they threw Kodai with Candace, I think it's interesting because everybody else gets a man. Someone said this on Twitter. Everyone else gets a man, but Candace is the one that gets quote unquote stuck with Kodai. The reason why people think Kodai is not a catch is because he does everything in his power to make people disgusted. It doesn't matter what your looks are. It doesn't matter what you do. Women are always told to only like a guy's personality, even when the personality is garbage trash. But guys, literally, Instagram models, literally, we live in a patriarchy. If things wouldn't exist, then it wouldn't exist, but it exists. So it is, if that makes any sense. Women have the right to not find you attractive, but they do not have the right to be discriminatory against you. Whether you are gay, straight, black, Okay, you do not have the right to discriminate against someone and say, I'm not going to be with you because you're this, that, and the other. That's the difference between saying, okay, I just don't like you. I don't find you attractive. They were pushing Kodai on Candace, but they were not pushing Kodai on anybody else. Not Courtney, not Nilsa, not Amy. Amy for like 2 seconds, and then she got some guy so that they would leave her alone. Everyone's got somebody on the show, and even if Candace does have somebody and it's not on the show, I wonder why they're not showing it. There's just problems all around. It's just problems all around. I can't. It's so bad. I can't. I feel so sorry for Candace having to deal with this, because if she leaves, like I said, they're just going to either replace her with a lighter skinned black girl or some black girl that's going to be with Kirk and say, yeah, there's no such thing as racism. There's no such diddly as ... Let's just tap dance all day and night. Like, let's just keep going like, let's, like, honestly, they're going to get some black girl like that, or they're not going to replace her at all, and it's going to be a white girl or somebody else, because they're like, well, as long as they're somebody that's not white, that's equality, right? It's still not equal on here. I've been to Florida, and I've seen more Hispanic people than I saw white people. And I think it's really interesting because I don't see not one Hispanic person. I don't know what Nilsa is, but she tan a lot. She reminds me of, what can I say? The Kardashians. She's like Nick. She's faux Nick. And I don't know what she is. Like I said, put it in the comments then. Put it in the comments. If you know what Nilsa is, please tell me. Put it in the comments. But everyone else is white. Jeremiah is white. Amy, white. Kirk might as well be white. Kodai, white. Gus, white. Courtney, white. No Hispanic people at all. Maybe Nilsa's Hispanic. Maybe she's part Hispanic. I don't remember. But just because you've got one Hispanic person, that does not mean equality. Like I said, there's more white people on the show. Courtney left. Oh, well, there's still a bunch of white people that people can identify with. There are no Asian people on the show. And, oh, one person, are we supposed to do? Are you supposed to do all white? We can keep asking stupid, dumb questions until the cows come home, and y'all will still be hiring nothing but white people and 2 non-white people. We can keep having those conversations, but that's getting us nowhere. I'm telling you what the deal is. Math doesn't lie. The math doesn't lie. And I see barely any ethnic people on the show. I see a few people that tan. I see a dude that never identifies with any black issue ever. Maybe he, like I said, maybe he agreed with Candace on one thing one time, once upon a time in the 2nd season, because he got backlash. But he never has her back. No one in the house ever has her back. And if it's behind the scenes, that doesn't count. That doesn't count, and it doesn't matter. So you might as well stop doing it if you're going to keep doing it behind the scenes. Because if you're not willing to sacrifice your racist fans or racist people who follow you, then you are a racist yourself. And you need to stop going behind the scenes and saying, oh, it's okay, Candace. Oh, this, that, and the other. Because you don't mean it. Do it in front of the cameras. Just like you sit there and do nothing for her in front of the cameras. Going on Twitter and saying this, that, and the other that you didn't say doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And it's one thing to make a mistake. It's another thing to keep doing it season after season after season after season. These are no longer mistakes. These are well thought out plans that you still continue to do for the duration of your time on TV. It's repulsive. And like I said, stop doing it so you can feel better about yourself. Don't do it at all. Candace is treated super unfairly, and Gus is treated too well for the fact that he treated Nilsa like pure garbage. It was so hard to watch. I almost stopped watching the show because he was treating Nilsa so terribly. And then he's going to gaslight her after she said, yeah, we did this. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. You better say we didn't. That's why I say what I think about him, because he is very aggressive. And then him running away like a dog, that was just to make people feel bad. That's why he wasn't outside. If it was an impulse, first of all, you need to get your impulses together if you don't want to live out in the woods like an animal. If you're not an animal, don't act like an animal in my society. This is human society. Go live with the animals if you got too many impulses to handle. Go to the doctor with your police family's money. He ran inside while everybody was out there cold and freezing, and Candace feeling terrible because she thought she did something wrong by defending her stuff. Because half the group said that she was in the wrong. Half the group sided with Gus. Every season, one more person jumps off the Gus train. After the 10 millionth time of Gus spitting in Nilsa's face, she got off the Gus train. When Jeremiah, let's talk about the stuff that happened with him and Jeremiah. I don't know everything about it, but I do know that Gus single-handedly turned the group on Jeremiah. Literally, he did. And Jeremiah was iced the freak out of that group and still did not give Candace half of what he got when he was in the group. He didn't give half of that to Candace. Maybe a third. Maybe I saw them hug once. Maybe. So stuff happened over the summer, and they like the whole season after the summer that they fought, they were fighting nonstop, and they had to remove them from the house. And every time they sat somewhere, every time they did something, Gus would be spiteful. And like I said, when you are not yourself, when you have to fight to be someone else, you get very intense. That is why I believe that Gus is hiding his true person from people. He could be bisexual, he could be gay. But when you're keeping that from yourself, it may manifest into problems with other people. And that is the difference between outing someone for spite or so that they can get hate. I want no hate to go to Gus because if he is gay or bisexual or Kodai, what I want from them is to live in their life, live the life that they feel is inside of them. So they stop spreading misery together like Raggedy Ann and Andy, hand to hand, causing chaos in the wake. Because I cannot sit here and I haven't been watching the show. I gotta freaking see it on freaking Twitter. All that nastiness that Gus said. And then I gotta freaking see on the show, when I did see the show, Kodai coddling Gus freaking for no freaking reason. And like I said, people can be in a depression. People can be in a suicidal state. But you cannot poke somebody and then revert back to, I'm a turtle. I am but a turtle. You were acting like a shark a second ago. And then if you say that that is a symptom of a problem, you go fix that problem. Bye. See you later. I'll pay for the bus fare for you to go. Go. Get yourself some help. Because this is the last straw. I'm not going to sit by and watch Candace go through all this turmoil and then watch y'all sit there and laugh like it's funny. It's annoying. The fact that Gus said, I don't even think you're a woman, to Candace in the second season or first season, and that he's still on the show, I don't understand. And then, like I said, the whole people going against Candace because she quote unquote outed Kodai. Like I said before, if you not living in your true life causes other people misery, you need to either get help so that you can figure out how to handle that and practice self-love, or you need to live your life. And neither of those require you harming other people. Verbally, physically, emotionally, no. And I'm not here for anyone to say that Candace is in the wrong for being upset. She smiles far too often and is fine with what the crap goes on in there all far too often. And I understand. Don't you understand? I understand why she does that. Because when she does say she's got a problem, she's the only one that I believe who hasn't gotten in trouble with the cops. If I'm not mistaken. I haven't seen the show recently, but I think it's really interesting that you guys be getting in fights, bar fights and whatnot, and call Candace the one that's over-exaggerating, overreacting. Freaking, and I love that Gus talks about, oh, you all talk to a woman, like stepping up to a woman. Man, if I just turned into a man right now, I would say, where you at, boy? Where you at? Florida boy. Where are you at? Meet me somewhere. Jeremiah, I was rooting for him when they were on the way to fight, but they pushed him away because they knew that freaking 6'11" dude was going to beat the crap out of this 5'8" dude. They knew he was going to be plaster. They knew it. And then after all that jazz, old dude had a cast. Like, he is just so manipulative. Gus had a cast, like, so that no one would go and assault him. Like, when he's the one that's trying to assault somebody else. He's always trying to fight somebody. But he's like a chihuahua, honestly, chihuahua. I have chihuahuas and they fight. He could fight, but he's just going to get kicked. He's just going to get kicked. And that's not also height shaming. People love to start talking about things that aren't really a thing, because I've seen like really, really short men be with women that are way far more beautiful than them. And it has nothing to do with their height, but their personality and what they look like. I think it's interesting. Oh, you got these problems with men and height and all that, but you want women with big breast, women dying literally for BBLs. Literally, they die because they get Brazilian butt lifts like every day. And how many men are dying because they're getting height surgery? They just won't. And they won't even have a good personality. And then they'll blame it on being short. Freak out of here with that. It's not going to work here. Not gonna work. I am so glad I could make this video, because I had to. I am so livid right now. He needs to be off the show. Someone needs to make a petition to get Gus off the show. And I love how he was talking about, oh, if I leave, I'm taking y'all with me. He said to Candace, he was like, oh, she needs to get off the show because she's racist. And like I said, white people, they be talking about things are racist. Oh, it's racist to talk about the Civil War. Okay, let's talk about what happened in the Civil War. Why we have it? What are we doing? Who's the real racist here? Oh, it's racist to talk about the Holocaust. Okay, so what happened to the Holocaust? Well, what are we doing here? I'm not gonna have stupid, dumb conversations with people. White people usually say someone's racist when they're racist and they're projecting, or they want to make it seem like, oh, if you're racist, that means I can be racist back. Ha ooh, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Like, no, that's not how it works. You can smile and do that and all that all day and night, and we just sitting there and look at you like you an idiot because you are an idiot. But I'm really done. I can't talk about this anymore. I can't. I am just so freaking done. Like I said, Candace Pimp Fried Rice, she is the best. She has a store. She be selling stuff. Please go to her Instagram, her Twitter. Please follow her. When the show first started, she had the least amount of followers. I'm sure she's getting paid a lot less. I don't know how much anybody's getting paid, but I am sure, certainly, that they deter them from talking about how much they make, because I know that Kirk's probably making more than her. Everyone should be getting the same amount of money. Same amount of money. Every soul is worth an equal amount. So if you think I'm 0, you 0. If you think you're 100, I'm 100. How about that? How about that, Gus? I have no more patience for you. I sympathized with your situation until you started pulling up with the racism. Even though you treated Nilsa like pure tea trash. Even though you treated your other girlfriend like pure tea scum. It's you who's the scum. And you need help because you are too buck wild to be let loose around society. I don't know what happened in your life, but I'm sorry that you went through that. That does not give you any right to treat Candace less than a woman, less than a person. And shame on the women for not banding together and being friends with her through thick and thin. Because I go to Amy's profile and guess what I see? Animated picture of Nilsa. I don't see Candace, and they all met each other around the same time unless they knew each other before then, which I don't know. Comment, tell me if you think I'm wrong about anything I've said, and I'm ready to talk about it. I'm ready to talk about it to anyone. I'm ready. Because I've had enough, and Black people have had enough, because I saw so many people coming to the aid of Candace after 4 seasons. Yeah, I'm done.